In a quiet, forgotten part of the galaxy, far from the busy trade routes and shining cities of the galactic core, a small research vessel from the Zarnak Empire drifted silently. The crew had been assigned a dull mission: scan the debris near a dead moon and report anything unusual. They didn't expect to find anything. But then, the scanners picked up something strange, something old, floating still and silent among the rocks. It was a vault. It was made of black metal, shaped like a twisted cube and covered in symbols no one could understand. It gave off no energy, no signal, just silence. The captain wanted to report it and wait. But one scientist aboard, Dravik, was too curious. He had studied hundreds of lost ruins, old weapons, even ancient AI. But this felt different. It felt important. The vault was cold to the touch. As they brought it aboard, the lights in the ship flickered for a moment, just a blink. Dravik stood over the vault in the lab, ignoring the quiet warnings from the rest of the crew. "Just a quick look," he said, fingers trembling with excitement. As he placed his hand on the strange, glowing red symbol at the center, the vault gave a low hum. Then it opened with a hiss of cold air. Inside was a small object. It looked simple. Round, dark, with lines of red energy pulsing inside it like veins. It wasn't alien. It wasn't Zarnak. Dravik stared at it, confused. And then he touched it. At that exact moment, every system on the ship shut down for 2 seconds. When they came back online, the entire crew stared in shock. The galaxy map on their screen lit up with new coordinates. Hundreds of them, spread across space, blinking in crimson. The computer showed strange symbols that none of their systems could translate. The temperature in the room dropped, and then a message appeared: "Do not wake them." It wasn't just on their ship. The same message appeared across the galaxy. On trader ships, on military bases, on peaceful colonies, even on planets that had no contact with Zarnak systems. The warning was broadcast in every known language, spoken, written, and even ancient ones long considered dead. Panic spread fast. The Council of Galactic Peace called an emergency meeting. No one could explain what the message meant. But the words were clear. And the source was even more terrifying. The signal had come from Earth. But Earth had been silent for over 300 years. Many believed the humans had destroyed themselves. Others thought they had moved on to another galaxy. Their planets were locked down, their satellites offline, their space empty. No one dared to go near Earth's zone. It was marked as dead and abandoned. Now the message came from there. The Forbidden Vault was clearly human, and something inside it had triggered this galactic event. On the research ship, the crew began arguing. Some wanted to destroy the relic. Others said they should leave immediately, but it was too late. Dravik, shaking, couldn't stop staring at the red lines running through the relic. "It's waking up," he whispered, though he didn't understand how he knew. In deep space, hundreds of old satellites turned back on. On Earth, long-buried systems began to blink. Cameras came to life in empty cities. Ancient defense platforms in orbit started to realign, though no command was given. And still, Earth said nothing. No ships launched, no signals sent, no words spoken. The silence made it worse. Across the galaxy, people remembered stories. Stories of what humans once were: fierce, brilliant, dangerous. They had ended wars, built stars, tamed black holes. But when they left, they warned the galaxy: "Do not follow. Do not wake us." No one had listened. Until now. Back on the research ship, Dravik locked himself in the lab. The relic had started to glow brighter. It pulsed like a heartbeat. The ship's lights dimmed again. The crew tried to override the door, but the systems failed one by one. And then through the ship's speakers, a voice spoke. Not Dravik's voice. It was old, deep, human. "You were warned." The message stopped. The relic cooled. The lab door opened by itself. Dravik was gone. Only his empty coat remained, lying next to the relic, now quiet again. The captain sent a full emergency report to the Zarnak High Command. But they already knew. Every major power across the stars had received the same message and the same new coordinates. Something on Earth had awakened, and it was watching. Some whispered the humans were still alive, hidden deep below their planet's surface. Others believed they had turned into something else, something beyond life. War spirits, some said. Silent guardians waiting for a reason to return. Now they had one. The vault should never have been touched, and the galaxy had just made its worst mistake. The Zarnak Empire tried to hide the truth. They told the public it was just a technical error. They said the strange signal was nothing more than old satellite noise. But deep inside their war chambers, the leaders were terrified. Every defense system in their empire had recorded the same thing, the same message, the same voice, and most of all, the same impossible coordinates. These new coordinates pointed to secret human stations thought to be abandoned centuries ago. Yet now, they were active again, fully powered and responding to something. The Zarnak High Council held meetings day and night, but no one had answers. The scientist, Dravik, was still missing. No body, no signal, no trace. It was like he vanished into thin air. Only the glowing relic remained, sealed inside a containment pod no one dared open again. Meanwhile, whispers were spreading. In the outer colonies, traders spoke of drones that had begun to appear near the edge of human space. Small, dark machines faster than any alien ship, scanning, watching, never attacking. But when a pirate ship fired at one, it was destroyed instantly. No warning, no remains, just gone. The pirate's last message was one word, screamed over the comms, "Run." The galaxy's leaders began to worry, not just about Earth, but about what Earth might still control. For years, people believed the humans had gone extinct, but the signs now pointed to something far worse. Humans had never left. They had simply gone quiet, a strange quiet, like a jungle that falls silent before a predator moves. Across the galaxy, strange power readings were picked up from long-dead human stations. Satellite arrays with impossible shielding began to turn. Ancient factories once thought empty began lighting up again, though no crew had been seen. Ships near human space were warned off by signals that felt alive. One scout ship from the Zoltari Union ignored the warnings and tried to land on an old Earth colony. They never made it. Instead, their ship returned by itself. No crew aboard, every system wiped clean. A single message played on loop inside. "The empty bridge. You touched the forbidden. Now we rise." Back on Zarnak, the Council faced a choice. Some wanted to send a full military fleet to Earth's border, to show strength. Others argued they should open talks. But who would they talk to? No human had spoken a word. No message, no response. Just silence. Cold, watching silence. But one admiral, Krell Zoran, pushed for action. "We cannot wait," he said. "If the war spirits of Earth are real, we must strike before they are ready." He was given command of 5 battleships. Their goal, approach the edge of Earth's territory, scan for weapons, and send a final message demanding surrender or explanation. They never even crossed the border. As their fleet neared an old defense satellite marked inactive, something happened. The space around the satellite rippled, like water breaking. A new ship appeared, massive, dark, shaped like a spear of shadow. No engines visible, no heat, no comms. The Zarnak fleet opened hailing channels. No response. Then, the human ship moved, not fast, but instantly. One blink, and it was behind the Zarnak fleet. Another blink, and the rear ships exploded without warning. The rest turned to run. Admiral Zoran's last log recorded this: "They don't fight like we do. They don't need to fight. We were ants to them, shadows to be erased." The fleet was gone. Now, fear gripped every corner of the galaxy. The humans weren't just alive. They were watching, and they were far beyond what any empire had imagined. The forbidden had been touched. A relic had been disturbed. And now, something ancient, something quiet and full of rage, had begun to stir. Back on the research ship, Still orbiting the dead moon where the vault was found, the crew lived in constant fear. The relic no longer glowed, but it pulsed once every few hours like a heartbeat. Then, one night, the ship's AI picked up a new signal. It wasn't from nearby. It wasn't from the galaxy. It was from deep inside Earth itself. A voice, old, calm, human. Phase 1. Observation complete. Begin Phase 2. Judgment. The message was short, but its meaning echoed across the stars. The humans had warned them. They had told the galaxy to never wake them. Now they were awake. And judgment was coming. The galaxy held its breath. For days, no new signal came from Earth. No attacks, no movement, just silence again. But this time the silence felt different. It wasn't peaceful. It felt like the deep breath before a storm. The Zarnak Empire shut down all activity near human space. Patrols were pulled back. Border stations were locked down. No one wanted to risk waking more of Earth's wrath. The 5 ships destroyed by the Shadow Spear vessel had left a strong message. Earth was not asleep. Earth was watching. On the ATI Galactic Trade Network, panic spread like fire. Civilian transports refused to fly near Earth's border. Trade routes were shut down. Merchants whispered of invisible ships seen in hyperspace, black shapes that blinked in and out like ghosts, made of metal. But then, something happened that shattered whatever calm remained. In the capital world of the Vurek Dominion, the sky opened. A dark slit, like a tear in the stars, formed above their largest city. From it, a massive object emerged, silent, smooth, and ancient-looking. It didn't fire, it didn't speak, it just hovered. The Vurek High Council ordered their ships to fire. Nothing happened. Every missile froze in midair, stopped, like time had paused just for them. Then, without a sound, every missile disintegrated into dust. One by one, no flames, no light. Just gone. A voice echoed inside every ship, every home, every device. Phase 2 initiated. Judgment underway. And then the ship disappeared, vanished as if it had never been there. People screamed. Leaders begged for answers. Scientists worked day and night to understand the technology. But nothing made sense. The energy levels were impossible. The scans returned gibberish. And worse, the same signal from the relic on the dead moon started broadcasting again, only louder. Every time it pulsed, a new star system reported something strange. Satellites failing, AI systems freezing, human ruins waking up. On a mining colony far from Earth, workers discovered a hidden tunnel deep under the surface. Inside was a sealed door. It wasn't alien, it was human, old Earth design. But the symbols on it were not normal military codes. They were warnings. In every known language, it said, "Do not enter, do not disturb. This is not your world." A brave or foolish team opened it. Behind the door, they found a chamber, full of stasis pods, hundreds of them, and inside each one, a human, still alive, not aged, not breathing, but their hearts were beating slowly, as if waiting. The miners ran, but it was too late. The chamber powered on by itself. Lights turned red. One pod hissed open. That's when the signal changed again. Earth's moon, long thought inactive, sent out a new code. The pulse reached far across the stars. It touched every old human outpost. It reached every satellite, even the broken ones, and they all responded. At the same time, ships began rising, not built, not launched, unburied. Old warships from Earth's forgotten wars, some so old their weapons were outlawed by every galactic treaty, rose from black oceans, dead planets, and asteroid fields. Each one bore the same emblem, a broken sword, wrapped in fire. Earth still hadn't said a single word, but the galaxy understood. Earth's war spirits were rising. Back on the dead moon, where Dravik had touched the relic, the Zarnak emergency team found something chilling. The vault wasn't just a container. It was a lock holding back signals, holding back codes, holding back Someone. Now, the lock was open. Inside the vault, a new message glowed on the relic's surface. It appeared in blood-red light. The lead scientist tried to translate it, but the message was already clear to all. They told us to stay buried. They told you not to touch the gate. You broke it. Now we return. The lead scientist dropped the tablet he was holding. It wasn't just a vault, he whispered. It was a tomb. From deep within Earth, energy readings reached their peak. The planet's core pulsed with unnatural signals. Orbiting satellites turned slowly, as if looking outward, and then, Earth finally moved. Not with words, but with ships. A single human fleet exited from a hidden jump corridor near the central trade world of the Galactic Council. No one had seen this fleet before. Its ships were massive, black, and bore no markings, only one signal, shared across every vessel. Earth has judged. Prepare yourselves. The Council tried to respond. Their leaders shouted into comms, begged for peace, offered talks. But the humans had warned them before. Now they weren't interested in peace. They were here for something else. Retribution. The human fleet moved with no sound, no warning. Across the stars, people watched in fear. These ships were not like anything the galaxy had seen. They didn't shine or show off their power. They were cold, black, old, made only for one purpose: war. The Galactic Council held emergency meetings. Every screen across their command chambers blinked with red alerts. Dozens of colonies were reporting strange activity, satellites rebooting, power grids surging, and ghost signals that could not be traced. The same message kept repeating from all directions. The gate is broken. Judgment begins. The Council's leaders argued for hours. Some wanted to send peace talks again. Others demanded Earth be wiped out immediately. But no one moved. They were afraid, because every ship that approached human space disappeared. Then came the next sign. In the dark zone of the galaxy, far from light and stars, an old battlefield reactivated. Long ago, it was the site of a human war no one remembered. Now, satellites hidden in the wreckage began to glow red. Then they transmitted something strange: names. Hundreds of names. Each name ended with a symbol, not a rank, a title. War Priest, Flame Caller, Breaker of Time, Sky Eater. These were not soldiers, these were monsters. The galaxy began to understand. These weren't just warriors, they were sleeping legends, humans sealed away long ago because even Earth feared their power. The relic that Dravik touched, it hadn't just sent a signal, it had freed them. On a frozen planet, deep under the ice, one such legend awakened. Her name was written in ancient Earth code, Seraph 9. She stepped out of her cryopod, eyes glowing faintly red. She did not speak. She did not need to. Around her, machines started powering on by themselves. Gravity bent slightly as she walked. She had not aged. She had not weakened. She had only waited. Across the stars, others like her awoke, one by one, in silence. The Zarnak scientist Dravik, who had started it all, sat in a prison ship. He watched the reports with shaking hands. He hadn't meant to do this. He just wanted knowledge. Discovery. Now he was the man who woke the storm. A storm no one could stop. The Galactic Council finally sent a message to Earth. It was broadcast in every language, every signal. We did not mean to disturb your relic. We seek peace. Please respond. For the first time, Earth replied. Only one message came through. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't a face. It was a set of coordinates, a location in deep space, far from any known planet, marked only with one word: judgment. The Council had no choice. They sent a diplomatic ship with ambassadors and a security escort. The ship reached the coordinates. There was nothing there at first, just black space. Then something massive emerged. A space station. No, a temple. Built into A hollow asteroid, shaped like a broken crown. It pulsed with ancient energy. Red lights moved like veins along its surface. The ship docked. The ambassadors entered. Inside, they saw walls covered in carvings, scenes of war, battles not written in any record, monsters with human faces. Planets burning, stars collapsing, all led by warriors in dark armor, humans. At the center of the temple, they found a chamber, and inside, a hologram appeared. A human figure, wearing a robe of shadows, stood before them. He spoke only one sentence. "Your galaxy will answer for what was forgotten." Then the temple shook. Not from weapons, but from energy rising. The station's walls folded outward. Dozens of stasis pods rose from the floor. Humans inside, still asleep, waited like kings in tombs. But one opened. The figure stepped out. He looked ordinary. No armor, no weapons, just calm eyes and slow steps. Yet the air around him cracked. The ambassadors ran. As their ship escaped, the station disappeared, blinked out like a ghost. Back at the council, silence fell again. The galaxy now understood. These were not just humans. These were war deities. And someone had kicked open the temple door. Now, the sleepers had awakened. And they were coming. The galaxy had never known true fear, until now. Kael'thorn had returned. The widow flame had walked among stars. The warden had awakened from the heart of a burning sun. They had done nothing that looked like war. Yet every fleet that moved against them vanished. Every threat disappeared without a sound. And still, the galaxy waited in silence. Because of one final message. 4 are awake, 3 are watching. 1 still sleeps. No one could find the last location. Not the council. Not the empires. Not even the hidden races in the black zones between galaxies. The coordinates remained locked. The signal from the first vault never revealed it. Some said the last sleeper was on Earth itself. Others believed it was beyond the known galaxy, in the place humans once called the Deep Beyond, where ships never returned. But something had started changing. Time was breaking. Ships jumped and arrived before they left. Moons reversed orbit. Messages sent from one side of the galaxy suddenly appeared at the other before they were even transmitted. It was happening more often, and always near Earth. A special research vessel from the Kirin Alliance got close. They didn't dare enter Earth's orbit, but their sensors picked up a strange rhythm beneath the surface. It wasn't radio. It wasn't mechanical. It was a heartbeat, slow, deep, ancient, not human, but made by humans. The ship's captain panicked and turned back. Before they could leave orbit, their screens turned red. A voice, not a transmission but a sound inside their minds, spoke just one word. Still. The crew blacked out. When they woke, they were docked at their home station, 3 days before they had launched. Time was folding. Space was cracking, and Earth was not asleep anymore. Across the galaxy, monuments began to collapse, not because of attacks, but because of remembrance. Ancient structures, long believed to be natural mountains or moons, cracked open. Inside were carvings of humans, older than any known race, older than the stars around them. The carvings weren't symbols of worship, they were warnings. One race, the Trelkai, finally admitted a secret. Their ancestors had once fought a being they called the Hollow King, a creature that stood silent while stars died around it. It was said to wear no armor, no weapon, just a crown of light, and in the end, it didn't need to fight. The enemy surrendered, and then erased themselves from time. "We believed it was myth," the Trelkai elder said. "But now, we think he sleeps." All eyes turned, back to Earth. The vaults had awakened war spirits, but the Hollow King was different. He was not made to fight. He was made to end wars forever. Some in the galaxy begged for peace. Others tried to run, but where would they go? Space itself had changed. The stars no longer followed old charts. Every time a ship jumped, it was a gamble. And then, the final sign came. Earth's moon split, not with violence, not with fire. It opened. A spiral of black and red light flowed out of the center, twisting into the stars. It didn't burn, it absorbed. Stars near it dimmed, not from damage, but from respect, as if the galaxy itself held its breath. And then he rose. Not from the Earth, not from the moon, but from memory. He didn't appear on screens. He appeared in minds. Across the galaxy, billions of people, no matter what race, saw the same figure in their dreams. A man with empty eyes and a calm face. A voice like wind through stone. A presence that felt like gravity itself. He spoke only once, not a threat, not a demand, just a truth. Peace was the gift. You chose to disturb it. The dream ended, and from that moment forward, no ship entered Earth's system. No war was declared. No empire raised its voice, because the galaxy finally understood. Earth had not been quiet because it was weak. It had been quiet because it was kind, and now that kindness had ended. The war spirits did not march. They did not invade. They simply watched. From every corner of space, their eyes remained open, waiting, because somewhere, deep in the void, another vault was opening, and the galaxy prayed that no one would be foolish enough. The galaxy had seen many wars. It had seen rebellions, invasions, and fallen empires, but nothing prepared them for what came next. Only one awakened human had stepped forward, just one, and the balance of the galaxy began to fall apart. In Xiao, name was written in lost human code, Cale Thorne. No rank, no title. But whispers began to spread. Some called him the Quiet One, others, the First Flame. He did not lead fleets. He did not issue demands. He simply arrived, alone, on a planet named Varnus Prime, a military world owned by the Vec Dominion. Varnus was not weak. It held over 600,000 soldiers, defense satellites, and one of the galaxy's largest orbital cannons. Cale Thorne landed in the middle of their capital square. No weapon, no army, only silence. At first, the Vec soldiers laughed. One officer stepped forward and shouted, "You are trespassing. Who do you think you are?" Cale looked at the man. No anger, no hate, just calm. Then the sky cracked. Above, every satellite failed. Shields collapsed. The ground trembled, not from an attack, but from something deeper, something inside the planet itself. Power grids shorted out. Communications died. Cale lifted one hand, and the city went dark. No explosion, no sound, just silence. In less than 60 seconds, all systems on Varnus Prime shut down. Every ship in orbit lost control. The orbital cannon drifted offline. Entire towers crumbled, not from force, but from the sheer pressure in the air. Kyle turned and walked away. By the time he reached the edge of the capital, the planet's entire defense command had surrendered. One man, no weapon. The news spread like fire. Across the stars, fear became something new. Terror. Who were these humans? How did they do these things? The council demanded answers, but even their best scientists couldn't explain what was happening. "This is not technology," one alien researcher said, shaking. "This is something else. Something older." Meanwhile, Earth said nothing. No demands, no threats. They simply watched. The war gods were rising again, but Earth itself remained quiet, as if it was only a watcher, not a master. And perhaps that was the most terrifying part. Cale Thorne's next move was stranger. He didn't go to another enemy world. He visited a place long forgotten. A drifting tomb world, shattered during a war 10,000 years ago. There was nothing left there, just ruins and stone. But Kyle walked into the ruins like he'd been there before. Inside the broken city, he knelt, before a cracked statue. Then he whispered in a language no translator could understand. And the stars listened. A wave of unknown energy spread through nearby systems. Ships turned off by themselves. Time seemed to slow around the tomb world. Some observers claimed they saw figures standing behind Kale, glowing, shadowed shapes, wearing human armor. Spirits, memories, or something worse. Back at the Galactic Council, fear turned to panic. The Zarnak scientist Dravik, still in prison, was pulled into questioning again. "What did you activate?" the council speaker shouted. Dravik answered with hollow eyes. "I didn't activate anything. I only opened a door." "What kind of door?" Dravik looked up slowly. "One that should have never been built." On a trade planet near human space, panic broke out. Merchants fled. Security forces doubled. Entire sectors shut down to prepare for an invasion that hadn't even started. But no ships came. Just one transmission. From Kale. It read, "This is not war. This is remembrance." The galaxy didn't know what that meant, but some began to believe this was not revenge. It was something more ancient, deeper. The humans were not attacking for power or land. They were following a pattern, a ritual, set long ago. And the relic that Dravik had touched? It was not just a warning device. It was a key to the old gods of war. One had awakened, others were stirring, and the galaxy still did not know how many there were, or how far they were willing to go. But one thing was clear now. The humans were not rising to conquer. They were rising to remember. And in their memory lay the ruin of stars. The galaxy no longer slept. After Kale Thorne awakened, sensors across distant sectors began to fail. Signals vanished. Old ruins lit up with red symbols that no one could translate. The council sent ships, but none returned. In a forgotten corner of the galaxy, deep beyond known star charts, a small moon broke apart. Inside it, something glowed. Another vault, but this one didn't need to be opened. It opened on its own. A second human figure stepped out. She wore ancient black armor, etched with names in a language no one knew. Her eyes glowed like dying. Stars. Her name was not spoken. It was only felt, a weight in the minds of those who saw her transmission. The galaxy called her the Widow Flame. She didn't speak. She just walked forward. And behind her, space itself bent. The galaxy realized then, these weren't soldiers. These weren't even people, in the way the other species understood. They were remnants, echoes of a forgotten war, memories in flesh. Triggers waiting to awaken, and now two had risen. The Vec Dominion, terrified after what happened to Varnus Prime, tried to launch a preemptive strike. Over 300 warships jumped toward Widow Flame's location. They never arrived. The jump beacons flickered once, then burned out. No wreckage, no signals, just silence. One alien whisper spread like a virus. The war spirits are rewriting space. Kale Thorne appeared again, this time on a council broadcast, but not on their terms. He hacked their secure system, using no code they could recognize, just a blinking red screen, and his voice. "You broke the seal," Kyle said. "You disturbed the silence." One council member shouted, "What are you? What do you want?" Kale's voice remained calm. "We were never gone, just sleeping." The broadcast ended. That same hour, all human records, once believed lost, suddenly returned. Files, history, maps, all uploaded to galactic databases. But the information was strange. It showed wars that had never been recorded, civilizations long dead, human fleets that made stars collapse by accident, weapons that operated on thought, alone. Entire timelines erased, because the war gods chose to erase them. And then, one chilling phrase appeared in bold red text. "We gave you peace, not permission." The council panicked. Species that once mocked humans now began to evacuate. Outer worlds. The Zarnak Empire, who caused all this by opening the first vault, shut down all research. They ordered silence, but it was too late, because the third one awoke. This one didn't appear in armor. It appeared in fire. An entire sun dimmed, then lit again in blood-red flame. From the center of that burning light, something stepped out. The Warden. They didn't land on planets, they touched stars, and wherever the Warden looked, solar systems began to twist. Gravity shifted. Entire fleets floated without control. Planets realigned. It was as if the laws of physics had been rewritten. Not broken, rewritten like a child rewriting an old story. And still, Earth remained silent. Observers noticed a pattern. Kalethorn, the Widow Flame, the Warden. Each, one awakened in a different way. Each one followed coordinates sent from the first vault, and there were more coordinates, at least 4 more. The galaxy had a choice now: submit or hide. But how do you hide from beings who control gravity? Who make time skip? Who carry no weapons, but walk like gods through fire and stone? The panic spread into the heart of the council. An emergency vote was held. One member suggested communication. Another shouted, "You don't negotiate with storms?" Meanwhile, a final transmission came through from deep space, a place once called Sol System. It simply said, 4 are awake. 3 are watching. 1 still sleeps. No one knew what it meant, but everyone felt the meaning. 1 more war spirit remained. The strongest, the oldest, no one knew. But wherever this one slept, something was changing. On the edge of the Milky Way, stars began to disappear, one by one, not destroyed, turned off, as if someone had reached into the sky and flipped the switch. The war was not coming, it had already begun, and the galaxy had nothing left to stop it.